The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over Maple Grove, a tidy suburban neighborhood in Fairview, Ohio. I just returned home 3 days early from a rejuvenating vacation in the Florida Keys, eager to slip back into the quiet rhythm of my life at 1423 Cedar Lane. My name is Malcolm Reynolds, a 52-year-old cybersecurity analyst, and after 2 weeks of sun-soaked beaches and no emails, I was ready to recharge in my own space. But as my rideshare pulled into the driveway at 4:12 p.m. on a serene Tuesday, I spotted trouble crouching beside my house like a fox in a henhouse. There, wielding heavy-duty wire cutters, was a woman in her late 60s, dressed in a sharp navy blazer and skirt that screamed authority. Her silver hair was pinned in a flawless bun, and she was slicing through the electrical cables running along my home's exterior with surgical precision. I dropped my suitcases, one still adorned with a seashell keychain from Key West, and shouted, "What in God's name are you doing?" The woman, whom I'd later learn was Eleanor Whitaker, president of the Maple Grove Homeowners Association and self-appointed guardian of neighborhood perfection, spun around, her wire cutters glinting. "Oh my," she gasped, pressing a hand to her chest. "You startled me. This property was supposed to be vacant. Who are you?" "This is my house," I snapped, gesturing at the home I'd been paying a mortgage on for 4 years. "The real question is why you're vandalizing my electrical system." Eleanor straightened, her eyes narrowing. "I'm Eleanor Whitaker, HOA president. These exposed wires violate our community standards. Section 14.2c demands all exterior utilities be concealed for aesthetic harmony." I stared, dumbfounded. The unsightly wires were standard power lines, identical to every other house on the block. "Those are my power lines," I said. "You can't just cut someone's electricity because you don't like the look." She produced a thick binder from her bag, flipping to a tabbed page. "Per the HOA covenant you signed, I have full authority to enforce compliance. Non-compliant utilities can be disconnected until resolved at your expense, naturally." The audacity hit me like a slap. I dealt with pushy clients and corporate politics, but this was next-level suburban warfare. Standing there in my flip-flops and a Key West Vibes t-shirt, I sensed this wasn't about wires. It was about control, laced with something uglier. I'd felt it before the extra glances at airport security, the surprise when I walked into boardrooms. But this was blatant, and it was happening in my yard. "I'm calling the police," I said, pulling out my phone. "Go ahead," Eleanor replied, snipping another wire with a flourish. "They'll be very interested in your violations." The police arrived in 10 minutes. Officer Daniels, a weary man in his 40s, stepped out, eyeing the scene. "Property damage?" he asked, glancing at the severed cables and Eleanor's wire cutters. Before I could speak, Eleanor launched into a performance worthy of a courtroom drama. "Officer, I'm Eleanor Whitaker, HOA president. I was conducting a compliance check when this man became aggressive. I feared for my safety." My jaw dropped. "Aggressive? I just got home and found her cutting my power." Daniels looked at the evidence, then at me in my beach attire. "Sir, can you prove you live here?" I showed my driver's license, mortgage app, and photos from inside the house. But Eleanor wasn't done. "Officer, our records show this property's owner is traveling. When I saw someone with luggage, I suspected a break-in. We've had issues with certain individuals claiming residency." The phrase "certain individuals" hung heavy. Daniels caught it, too. "Ma'am, he's established residency. Cutting wires is property damage, a serious issue." Eleanor waved her binder. "Section 16.8 grants the HOA authority to restrict utilities for violations. This is enforcement, not destruction." I grabbed the binder, scanning the vague clause. "This says restrictions, not cutting wires with shears. There's a difference." Daniels sighed. "Ma'am, you can't cut power lines." "Sir, this is a civil matter. Take it to small claims or your HOA. Call an electrician." As he left, Eleanor smirked. "Mr. Reynolds, I trust you'll address these violations promptly. We wouldn't want further enforcement." My house went dark that night. No power, no lights. But Eleanor didn't know she'd just awakened a cybersecurity analyst who thrived on dismantling corrupt systems. This was war. The next morning, electrician Tom Harper arrived, his jaw dropping at the damage. "Who did this?" "A raccoon with a vendetta," he muttered. "This isn't just cut lines. She hit your lighting circuits, security wiring, and damaged the panel's weatherproofing. You're looking at $5,200. I winced. My insurance company called it a gray area, delaying coverage for weeks. Then Eleanor appeared in my driveway, clipboard in hand, her navy pantsuit pristine. "Good morning, Mr. Reynolds," she chirped. "I see you're addressing the violations." Tom, mid-repair, stood. "You did this?" "Lady, I've been at this 20 years. This is sabotage. You could have started a fire." Eleanor's smile didn't falter. "Standard HOA protocol. Mr. Reynolds, you'll owe us $600 fine, $400 administrative, $200 for my time enforcing compliance." "You're billing me for vandalism?" I snapped. "For addressing violations," she corrected. Tom cut in. "What you did was dangerous. No HOA covenant justifies this." Eleanor ignored him. "You have 72 hours to pay and submit a compliance report, or expect further action." She strode off, heels clicking. Tom shook his head. That woman's unhinged. I paid Tom's bill, then made a calculated move. I paid Eleanor's $600 fine. Not because I agreed, but to lull her into thinking she'd won. Meanwhile, I dove into the HOA's online records bylaws, minutes, and enforcement logs. What I found was a goldmine. Eleanor had been president for 16 months, during which enforcement action spiked 320%. Of 52 fined homeowners, 38 were minorities, single parents, or the elderly. White families got polite reminders. Mrs. Larson's oversized mailbox? A friendly note. Mr. Evans' tall fence? A suggestion to adjust. But when Rosa Gomez's kid left a skateboard out? $150 fine. When did widower Mr. Patel's shrubs grow an inch too high? $200 penalty. Eleanor was also settling scores. The Thompsons, who'd complained about her loud parties, got cited for a non-compliant mailbox. The Lopezes, who'd pushed for speed bumps, faced fines for holiday lights. Then I dug into her job. Eleanor was a community manager at Prestige Properties, a firm specializing in upscale developments. Her LinkedIn glowed with praise for her firm hand in community standards. I contacted Tom, who provided a scathing statement on the dangers of Eleanor's actions. 3 other electricians echoed his horror. I filed a complaint with the state's Community Management Board, flagging her actions as potential crimes. Then, in the HOA minutes, I found a gem. 6 months ago, board members Clara Thompson and Henry Brooks had opposed Eleanor's aggressive enforcement, warning of discrimination lawsuits. She'd overruled them, citing her presidential authority. Eleanor's next move came a week later. At 8 a.m., a tow truck backed into my driveway, targeting my Toyota Camry. Eleanor stood on the sidewalk, directing the driver, "Carl, that's my car," I shouted. Carl looked uneasy. "Got a call about an abandoned vehicle parked over 48 hours. "It's in my driveway," I said. Eleanor brandished a photo log. Section 21.5. Vehicles must move every 48 hours to avoid abandonment. Your car's been static since Tuesday. Carl scratched his head. Never towed a car from a driveway for this. Eleanor pressed, threatening to cancel his contract. Reluctantly, he quoted $250 200 tow, $50 daily storage. I shocked them both. "Tow it." As Carl loaded my car, I recorded everything. Eleanor bristled. Defamatory content could lead to legal action. "I'm just documenting facts," I grinned. "This'll make a great blog." She leaned in, voice low. "Some residents don't fit our standards, Mr. Reynolds. They often find it better to relocate." The threat was clear: conform or be driven out. "Sounds like housing discrimination," I shot back, still recording. "That's a federal crime." Her face paled, and she stormed off. She just handed me dynamite. I called Clara Thompson, who'd opposed Eleanor. Over coffee, she vented. "She's turned this place into a dictatorship. People are scared to speak up," she retaliates. Henry Brooks, a lawyer, confirmed the HOA's legal risks. "She's begging for a discrimination suit. A recall petition needed 60% of homeowners, but I had a faster plan." 3 days later, a letter from Brighton Legal Services accused me of harassment and defamation, demanding an apology within 10 days. A quick search revealed Brighton was a paper tiger, sending scare letters for HOAs. I called their lawyer, Greg Brighton, who fumbled when pressed for specifics. "My client says you're disruptive," he stammered. "Your client's lying," I said. Henry confirmed the HOA never authorized legal action. Eleanor was likely misusing funds. I escalated. I sent a 50-page report to Prestige Properties CEO, HR, legal, and client relations heads, detailing Eleanor's vandalism, discrimination, and threats. Within hours, their HR director, Susan Carter called. We're investigating. This is unacceptable. Henry called later. Eleanor's on leave. She's livid, blaming you. I wasn't done. I contacted every homeowner Eleanor had targeted: Rosa Gomez, Mr. Patel, and single mom Lisa Carter. We built a case. A whistleblower, Jenny Miles from Brighton Legal, revealed Eleanor paid their fees personally, then faked HOA expense reports a felony. The HOA meeting was set for Thursday, but Eleanor struck at 3 a.m., calling 911 about a fake gas leak at my house. Fire Chief Alvarez found nothing. I spotted Eleanor lurking nearby. Did you call this in? Alvarez asked her. I smelled gas, she lied, earning a citation for false reporting. By 6 a.m., my car was smeared with flour, eggs, and dog waste, a note reading, "Respect our standards." Eleanor's handwriting was unmistakable. I called Detective Laura Kim, who laughed. She's building her rap sheet. The HOA meeting was electric. The room overflowed with fed-up residents. Eleanor tried to spin herself as a victim, but I presented my evidence: vandalism photos, discriminatory fine data, and her recorded threats. When I played her relocate comment, gasps filled the room. Rosa Gomez stood. You've harassed anyone who doesn't fit your perfect neighborhood. You're the one who needs to leave. Clara moved for a no-confidence vote. It passed 5-0. Eleanor was ousted. 3 weeks later, her empire collapsed. Prestige fired her, her credentials were revoked, and she pleaded guilty to false reporting and vandalism, 2 years probation and counseling. The HOA, using her assets, reimbursed me $5,800 in damages. Eleanor's house hit the market with a motivated seller sign, and she vanished within 2 months. Under Clara's leadership, the HOA adopted fair policies. Maple Grove became the warm, diverse community it was meant to be. Every time I parked in my driveway, wires intact, I smiled at Eleanor's spectacular self-destruction. Justice, served with patience and data, tastes divine. What do you think? Have you faced bullies or injustice like this? Share your thoughts below. Where do you stand on confronting abuse in your community? Let's debate.